Have you noticed that you wake up earlier these days? You ever wake up around 3 in the morning and just lie there, not even sure why you're awake? You're not the only one. Truth is, it happens to more people than you'd imagine. And no, it's not just some random habit or something that just comes with age. There's usually something deeper behind those quiet, sleepless hours. After age 60, many people find themselves waking up much earlier than they used to. It can feel confusing, especially if you're still tired, but just can't fall back asleep. So why does this happen? Let's walk through it, calmly and clearly. Here are 5 simple reasons why you might be waking up earlier than before, and what they mean for your health and well-being.
Number 1, lifestyle habits that shift your sleep rhythm. Another powerful but often overlooked reason older adults find themselves awake at 3 a.m. lies in long-standing daily habits, small routines and choices that, over time, quietly reshape your internal rhythm. Many older adults naturally begin eating dinner earlier, winding down sooner in the evening, and getting less physical activity during the day. These seemingly minor adjustments accumulate, signaling to the body that night is starting earlier, which inevitably pushes your wake-up time earlier too. When your days become quieter, especially after retirement, your body no longer receives the same external cues it once relied on, like commuting, running errands, or engaging in mentally or physically stimulating tasks. Without those cues, your sleep-wake cycle may begin to drift forward. A calm, dimly lit evening with minimal stimulation can prompt your brain to start producing melatonin earlier, inviting sleep before you've even realized the clock has struck 9. And once you fall asleep earlier, your body simply finishes its rest earlier, often waking you in those still pre-dawn hours around 3 a.m. There's also a subtle connection between food timing and sleep quality. Eating dinner early, while generally healthy, can sometimes lead to a dip in blood sugar overnight, especially if you haven't had a small snack before bed. That dip may not feel like hunger, but it can still rouse your body from sleep. Similarly, caffeine, even consumed in the early afternoon, can linger in your system, especially as your metabolism slows with age. It may not keep you from falling asleep, but it can lighten your sleep and make you more susceptible to waking at any small disturbance. For someone like Walter, who's 74 and recently retired, these changes crept in gradually. His days became less structured and his evenings more relaxed. He started eating supper at 5 p.m., dozing off in his recliner during the evening news, and heading to bed before 9 p.m. without realizing it. His entire routine had shifted several hours earlier. Before long, he found himself wide awake around 3 a.m., puzzled as to why he was waking up before the birds even began to sing. After reflecting on his habits, Walter began making small adjustments: a short walk in the afternoon, reading under brighter light in the evening, and avoiding naps after dinner. These changes helped push his natural sleep window just a bit later, allowing his body to settle into a rhythm that aligned more closely with his ideal wake-up time. What's remarkable is how often we overlook the power of routine. Our bodies crave rhythm, daily patterns that act like signals, telling the brain when it's time to rest and when it's time to rise. As those signals weaken or shift, the internal clock can lose its bearings, leading to earlier, more fragmented sleep. But by noticing these patterns and making small, thoughtful changes, it's possible to gently guide the body back to a sleep cycle that feels more restorative and less disrupted. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 2, emotional and psychological restlessness. Sometimes waking up at 3 a.m. has less to do with the body and more to do with the mind. As we grow older, emotional layers that were once buried by the business of daily life can start to surface in the quiet of the night. These early morning hours, when the world is still and distractions are few, often become the stage where unspoken worries, regrets, or longings begin to stir. You may find yourself lying awake, not because of noise or pain, but because your mind is quietly sorting through memories, unresolved thoughts, or subtle anxieties you didn't realize were still with you. This kind of restlessness is different from the full-blown anxiety that might strike in youth. It's quieter, more reflective. It can feel like a soft hum in the background, a sense that something is unsettled, even if you can't quite name it. The mind, when not actively engaged, often reaches backward into old relationships, past decisions, losses endured, or words left unsaid. And because the body's no longer rushing from one responsibility to another, there's space for those thoughts to echo a little louder. It's also important to recognize that loneliness can play a role here. For many older adults, social circles shrink with time. Children move away, friends become busy, and routines change. The daytime might be filled with light and activity, but nighttime brings quiet, and with it, an awareness of that emotional gap. This kind of loneliness doesn't always feel heavy. Sometimes it shows up simply as a desire for connection or a faint ache for someone to talk to when the house is still. Consider someone like Gloria, who's 80 and widowed. During the day, she keeps busy tending her garden, calling her grandchildren, watching her favorite shows. But around 3 a.m., she often finds herself waking up, her thoughts returning to moments she shared with her late husband, or to worries she keeps tucked away during the daylight hours. At first, she thought something was wrong with her sleep, but over time, she came to understand that her early waking wasn't about sleep at all. It was her heart asking to be heard. To support herself, Gloria started keeping a small journal by her bed. When she wakes up, she sometimes writes down whatever's on her mind. Nothing fancy, just a few honest thoughts. She also added a quiet evening ritual, like listening to soft music or writing a short note to a friend. These little acts of reflection and connection gave her emotions a gentle outlet, easing her mind and helping her return to sleep more peacefully. The truth is, the human heart doesn't follow a strict schedule. It remembers what it wants to remember, asks the questions it needs to ask, and sometimes does all this at 3 a.m. when everything else is quiet. But that's not a flaw. That's a sign of depth. If you find yourself waking up and feeling reflective, it might mean you're carrying wisdom that's ready to be acknowledged. You've lived through joys and heartbreaks, and those experiences shape not just your memories, but your very sense of self. Rather than seeing these wake-ups as something to fix, try approaching them with curiosity, and kindness. What is your mind trying to tell you? What do you need to give voice to? What part of you needs a little grace, even in the dark? Sometimes the most meaningful kind of rest comes not from ignoring these moments, but from honoring them. In doing so, you may find not only better sleep, but a richer understanding of yourself in this stage of life. Number 3, your internal clock starts to shift forward. Every person has a circadian rhythm. It's like a built-in 24-hour timer that tells us when to sleep, eat, and wake up. As we age, this rhythm can shift earlier. So instead of being sleepy at 10 p.m., we might feel sleepy at 8 p.m. And instead of waking up at 7 a.m., we might find ourselves wide awake at 4:30. It's like our internal clock is set to an earlier time zone. Psychological and environmental impact. Many older adults live in quieter homes or spend more time alone. This calm environment reinforces the body's signals to rest earlier. Without the activities or noise that once delayed bedtime, the body begins preparing for sleep much sooner. If you're no longer working full-time or following a strict routine, the absence of external time markers, like meetings, commutes, or social events, can make this internal shift even stronger. Real life. Example, Walter's story. Walter, a 68-year-old retiree, usually has dinner at 5:30 p.m., watches a bit of TV, then goes to bed by 9 p.m. By 3 a.m., his body is already ready to wake up. At first, he thought it was insomnia, but after learning about advanced sleep phase, he realized his sleep wasn't broken. It was simply his schedule that had shifted. By adjusting his evening routine, like reading a book under dim lighting, taking a slow walk after dinner, or calling his daughter before bed, Walter gradually extended his sleep window. The result? He wakes up at 3 a.m. less often and feels more in sync with his daily rhythm. Work with your body, not against it. This natural shift is something many older adults go through, yet it's rarely talked about. Understanding it can ease feelings of guilt or confusion and help you adapt more mindfully. If you often wake up at 3 a.m. and still feel well rested, it might simply mean your body is now operating on an earlier schedule. With this knowledge, you can adjust your routines to better support your well-being. Number 4, melatonin production naturally decreases with age. Melatonin is the hormone that helps us feel sleepy. It rises in the evening and tells our body that it's time to rest. But after age 60, our body makes less of it. This means we might fall asleep earlier in the evening and wake up earlier in the morning, even if we don't want to. It's not because something is wrong. It's just part of how the body changes over time. What's more, the bedroom environment can make this effect worse. Even small amounts of light, from a street lamp outside the window, a blinking clock on the nightstand, or a hallway light under the door, can suppress melatonin even further. As we get older, our bodies become more sensitive to light, sound, and even small changes in the room. That's why waking up at 3 a.m. can feel so frustrating, even when we think we've done everything right. Take Frank, for instance. He's 69 and he used to sleep like a rock. But lately, he's up around 3:15 almost every night. Not worried, not upset, just fully awake, like his body forgot what time it is. At first, he thought it was something he did wrong, but after learning it's connected to melatonin and how sleep naturally shifts with age, he stopped blaming himself. He made a few small changes, kept his bedroom darker, put his phone away earlier, and most evenings he takes a quiet walk just to help his body settle down. He still wakes up early sometimes, but now he doesn't fight it. He works with it. And that understanding, it makes a real difference. Because when you know it's not your fault, you stop being so hard on yourself. You start listening to what your body needs. And that's how real rest begins. Number 5, physical discomfort and health-related wake-ups. Another common reason older adults wake up around 3 a.m. is physical discomfort or a health-related interruption. As we age, chronic conditions become more common. Many of them show up quietly at night, like joint pain, a full bladder, or a sudden muscle cramp. Even minor things like the dry mouth or a small shift in room temperature can be enough to break your sleep. For example, arthritis may not bother you when you fall asleep, but after a few hours in one position, discomfort builds and wakes you up. Acid reflux is another trigger, especially if you've eaten late or gone to bed too soon after dinner. One of the most frequent reasons older men wake up at 3 a.m. is the urge to urinate. As the bladder ages, it holds less and signals more often. During the day, it's easy to ignore, but in a quiet room at night, it's hard to miss. And once you get up, your body may shift from deep rest to full alertness. Medications can also play a role. Many drugs for blood pressure, heart conditions, or pain management cause side effects like frequent urination, sensitivity to temperature, or lighter sleep. You may not notice the connection until someone points it out. Take Margaret, age 76. She used to wake up around 3:30 every night. After speaking with her doctor, she found that one of her medications was affecting her hydration. They adjusted the timing of her dose, and now she sleeps more soundly with fewer interruptions. The key is, waking up at night doesn't mean something's wrong. It often means your body is doing its job, sending signals, asking for small adjustments. And with the right response, those signals can lead to better care, better sleep, and a stronger sense of well-being. So what can we do? Here are a few simple suggestions that many people over 60 have found helpful. Try to keep a regular sleep schedule, even on weekends. Avoid bright screens and strong lights an hour before bed. Make your bedroom cool, quiet, and dark. Don't force yourself to sleep. Instead, try gentle breathing or reading something light. And if early waking still happens, don't stress about it. Sometimes, just sitting with a warm drink and listening to the morning birds can be healing. Each of these 5 reasons offers a different lens through which to understand your early morning wake-ups. And none of them point to something wrong or broken. In fact, they each reveal how deeply your body and mind are still working, still responding, still adapting as you move through this stage of life. Sometimes it's just a new rhythm, your body's quiet way of asking for peace, stillness, or maybe just a little more care. Thanks for spending this time with us. If you found this helpful, feel free to subscribe.